out afterwards. So the recording will be sent out. So if you want to share it with your colleagues or anything like that, or rewatch it for something, you're welcome to do so. And you can also refer to the links that are on the webpage to be able to get the information. So as I shared, this is our webpage, this is our homepage. And if you scroll down just to about midway down, we have our Emergency Volunteer Center. So a little bit of background about OneOC. Our mission is to accelerate nonprofit success. And we do this by connecting nonprofits, volunteers, and corporations to generate broader community impact. And so by doing that, we actually have about 18 different services. We're not going to go through all of those at all today. What we're going to do is we're going to just share some of the free opportunities that we have right now to support you as you are kind of going and navigating through this time of COVID-19. So with our Emergency Volunteer Center, we were actually activated at the end of March. We work with the Emergency Center of Orange County, and we are currently serving as a model for the state as to how to connect nonprofits in need of disaster-related volunteers, helping nonprofits post disaster-related projects, and helping volunteers find opportunities to support their community. So let me show you a little bit more about that. So if you hit Get Involved, this is our disaster page. So this is the page, if you're a volunteer, you can actually come in here and you can sign up to be registered for a disaster-related projects. And so I mentioned we've done this since the end of March. And so since then, we've been able to actually register over 2,000 volunteers, of which about 1,600 or 1,700 of them have actually been placed in projects. So there's some folks who have pre-registered for opportunities that may not be listed here yet, but they still give you the chance if you're looking for a volunteer. That volunteer can then sign up and get share some of the things that they're have skill sets for, and if they don't match a current project, they can be matched to a future project. So that's where the discrepancy comes in with that number. But we've actually helped over 25 nonprofits in 55 projects in that time. So if you're a nonprofit on the call and you have a need for volunteers, you can also post projects here. So let me kind of show you what this looks like. So you can request volunteers, and you can sign up as volunteers. So on the nonprofit side, I'm sorry, on the volunteer side, let me show you. This is actually our volunteer calendar. And so you can see a series of volunteer opportunities. So I can search here by keyword. So if I wanted to find something that's virtual, I can actually search a virtual opportunity. We know there's been a high demand for those. I can actually be really specific, like if it's a date and time specific, if it's something that hasn't happened yet, if it's individually scheduled, I can put a location. So let's say I put Santa Ana, and I can choose a distance, right? Let's say I want something that's within 20 miles of Santa Ana. And I hit search. And here are the opportunities. So we can see organizations right now that have needs for volunteers. As you can see, the ones that are virtual are actually marked virtual, so it's really nice. If you're looking for volunteers to help you, or if you're a volunteer and you're looking to help, and you don't necessarily want to have to go to a physical site during this time, you can do those virtual opportunities. You'll also see that there's ones marked with urgent need. So all of the projects that are disaster related and need urgent volunteers, they're actually marked by this title, urgent need. And so, for example, Wise Place has some urgent needs right now. So if you're really looking to make a difference right away, definitely sign up for those urgent needs. Or if you're a nonprofit, mark that it's an urgent need project. And so you can actually fill out the projects in here. So if we go back to the page before, this is really where you're able to, post the project. I don't know why it's not letting me go back. And so with doing that, there we go. I think that'll let me. Yeah. So you're able to sign up for urgent needs and skills-based volunteer right here. So you can click to see all the opportunities for the Emergency Volunteer Center, where we just were, and it has the specific ones for the emergencies. And then you're able to actually post the project that way, or you can contact disaster@oneoc.org. And so you're able to do this in partnership with our volunteer services team, so they can walk you through the process, answer any questions that you may have. And so on the volunteer side, You're actually able to sign up here too. So you can take a minute to register. You can actually go in and mark your skill sets. If you have particular cause areas that you're passionate about, whether it's, you know, hunger and homelessness, youth education, anything that there is that you are wanting to be part of, you're able to mark that in your profile. And you're also able to map your own skill set. So let's say you have expertise in strategic planning or in marketing or in administration, or you're an expert in a very specific area. You can actually upload all of your credentials into the system as well. So it's kind of like your LinkedIn profile for being a volunteer, and people are able to actually search you. So if I'm a nonprofit, I can actually search for volunteers by somebody who has a specific skill set. So based on my need, let's say I need social media help right now, I can search people that have social media experience, and I can extend the opportunity for them to volunteer. So it's a very robust volunteer management system that we do have for nonprofits. So if you are a nonprofit on the call, I highly encourage you to be part of our community and take advantage of the Emergency Volunteer Center and the volunteer opportunities. Okay, I'm seeing that there are some questions, so maybe we can actually answer those questions now. So it says, do we know if these volunteer opportunities are for adults only? You can actually indicate if there are volunteer opportunities that families can take advantage of, children, things like that. And so that can be indicated actually in the volunteer opportunity. And when you search, you can have that opportunity as well. So it's not restricted to 18 and over. Thank you for that question. So now I'm actually going to go back to our homepage. So that was a little bit about our volunteer opportunities and our Emergency Volunteer Center. I now want to show you our nonprofit resource center, specifically for COVID-19 resources. So again, this is also on the homepage, starts off with the Emergency Volunteer Center, and then we scroll down and we get to the resource page. So we'll hit Learn More, and we'll actually be directed to the page. And so on the page, we actually have some different sections. So we have resources for nonprofits at the top. In the middle, we have resources for volunteers. So again, you could either go on our volunteer calendar, or you can go on one of these websites if you're looking for volunteer opportunities, or if you're trying to direct friends and family to volunteer opportunities. There's also ways that folks can support the community. So not just by direct volunteerism, but if they're wanting to donate supplies, donate monetary donations, they can do that here. Or they can actually engage in some advocacy work. So signing up to say, you know, please include nonprofits in certain pieces of legislation, that kind of stuff. So that's all here too. And then we have a list of our partners. So we have a lot of partner organizations that are doing great things for the community during this time. So if you're looking to get resources and support from a variety of organizations, you can definitely do that here. And then we have some additional assistance, like if you need individual or family assistance, you can contact 211. If you need health updates, you can go to our governor's website for the state of California legislation and health updates. You can see general updates related to COVID-19. And if you have resources you want to share, you can actually contact me directly. So this is all on our page. So I'm actually going to go and do a deeper dive on the nonprofit resources, since that's what we're all here for. So the very first piece is actually helping us to stay connected. And we allow or have created these different support networks to help nonprofits connect during this time. And we actually have 3 groups right now. Now I'll show you the groups in a moment, but our 3 groups are our General Nonprofit Support Network, our Youth Development and Education Nonprofits, and our Orange County Nonprofit CEO Forum. And I'll share a little bit more about each of those in a moment. I also wanted to show you that we have office hours. So something that we've realized is there's folks that need some immediate help and they need it quickly. And so if you have questions related to any of the topics that you see here on the screen, you can actually click in and you can schedule time. So let's say you wanted to schedule time with me, you can actually click in here, and you can find my calendar link, and you can sign up for a 15-minute slot for virtual office hours. And so you can do that with any of the folks that are listed on our page. and you're able to do it for any of the topics that are next to their name. So it's pretty cool. So it's just 15 minutes. It's at your convenience, and we're able to help you and answer any questions that you have related to kind of anything in the nonprofit sector. So it's pretty cool. We also have options just to share a little bit about some of the things that are going on from the financial perspective. So we have our information about the CARES Act, the emergency loans, the various programs that are available, and kind of what may be looking ahead for additional stimulus dollars and what that looks like. So we have that information here for you, and these are all just links, so you're able to get a direct link. We also have funding opportunities, and these are just some of the finance and funding links. I'll actually show you something more comprehensive that we have that we update on a daily basis. Our webpage gets updated probably about twice a week, and then our reference guide, which I'll show you momentarily, gets updated every day. But this does have some information about some of the things that are available from a funding perspective. I know the OC Community Resilience Fund just gave out their first round of funding, and they're looking to give out another round, so that's an option, as well as the Rapid Response Program by the Anaheim Community Foundation, and then of course there's the government options. We also have some advocacy opportunities, and so if you're wanting to share some of the things that you're going through as a nonprofit who may be reliant on government support, I know there were some restrictions around the applications for government loans and federal loans and things like that. And so if you had a government contract, you weren't able to get as much money for payroll because those folks would be covered by the grant. And so this is basically saying, hey, a lot of nonprofits are relying on this, and so we should really open up the opportunity to be able to get a check or a loan to support us, even if we are covered by a government grant. So that's kind of what this is for specifically. There's also ways for organizations to recruit volunteers. So I did go over our Emergency Volunteer Center, but there are some other options here too. So we have actually an opportunity to recruit virtual volunteers through Catch a Fire. You can use Volunteer Match, or you can contact disaster@oneoc.org. I would definitely recommend contacting disaster@oneoc.org if you really don't know where to start, because they really are able to help you guide you through the process of hosting your project and figuring out how to best recruit the volunteers and using our system correctly. So I also wanted to show you our webinar library. And so something that I think both Dave and Alicia had mentioned earlier is that we have been doing a lot of webinars, and this is very true. And so we actually have all of our past webinars linked here. So if you're interested in any of the topics, you're able to actually go back and watch the recordings. So we have a webinar on HR and compliance. We have one on employee engagement and remote working. We've done past virtual tours, as Alicia mentioned. We have information about legal implications, volunteers, engaging your board, financial support, crisis communications, recognizing volunteers, insurance and risk mitigation, and marketing and communications. And later today, we'll be posting our next webinar, which is actually taking place later this week. I believe it's on Thursday. And that one's going to be around navigating the return to work. So I know a lot of the webinars that we had initially were really in response to kind of the immediate crisis and everything that was going on, and how we pivot various assets of our business and how that looks in terms of really engaging with both our employees and clients. And so now, as we're looking at, the various phases that the governor has outlined, and as we're all kind of thinking about what is that plan to return to work, that's what we're going to be talking about really from that HR and compliance perspective. So we hope you can join us for that. One of the other things I did mention was that we have a resource guide that is updated daily. I'm going to go ahead and click on that for you. So this actually takes you to a Google Doc, and what's cool about this Google Doc is everybody can look at it at the same time, so that's kind of nice. And it's able to be navigated fairly easily. So in addition to being able to search in here, you can actually click through. So for example, tomorrow is Giving Tuesday now, as many of you know. So if you were interested in finding more resources about that, you can actually just click on the side, and there's some information about Giving Tuesday now. Or if you wanted to talk about like, oh, I'm really having some challenges with remote working, Here's some information about free software applications, articles, webinars, things like that that you can use. We also have tools and templates. So if you need a telecommuting policy or agreement, pretty much anything you could think of is in here. And if you have things that have been really valuable to you that you'd like to share with a broader audience, we're happy to include this too. And I did mention that you're able to search in here. So you can search by doing Control F. So I'm just going to hit Control F. It lets me while I'm on Zoom. It's not letting me while I'm on Zoom. Sorry. Well, otherwise I would show you that piece, but it's not cooperating because I'm on Zoom. I think it's thinking that I'm doing something else. But you can search in here too. So one of the ways that you could get to like the Giving Tuesday information, for example, is you could click here or you could actually search it. And so the information is here on how you would do a search. So that's just one other piece of our resources that I wanted to share. The last thing I did want to revisit was all of the different networks that we have created during this time, and we're continuing to create networks if that's something that's of interest for our nonprofits. So that's pretty cool, is we're able to kind of be agile and on the fly and be able to add more folks into the conversation. So this is actually our Orange County Nonprofit Support Network. This is actually used on an application called Mobilize. Mobilize is something that you can use on a web-based platform, or you can use the downloadable app. So you can get notifications on your phone or tablet, and so that's kind of nice because you're able to do chats, you're able to respond to events, add to discussions, and things like that. And so some things we've been able to post in here, we have a toolkit for Giving Tuesday Now. So anybody that's in this network got access to this Giving Tuesday Now toolkit. We actually created one specifically for Orange County, so that's kind of cool. And other people are allowed to post in here too. So if people have questions, they're able to post their questions and people can respond to the questions. And so you can click in to the comments and you can see all of the responses to the questions. So you see different people responded and they're able to help and support. So we really just wanted to create this for the nonprofit community to be able to help and support each other, share upcoming events, share resources, ask questions, and really just get that engagement going. And so out of the support network, we did see a lot of individuals in the youth development and education space that were looking for resources and support as well. And so we actually created one specifically for youth development and education nonprofits. And so if you go in here, you can see there's information in here. So Tony from Pure Game, for example, posted something that he's doing. And so this is a great way that organizations in this space are able to share resources that are really relevant to their the students or the youth that they serve. And so if you're in a specific organization type or in a functional position that it would be really helpful for you to be able to have some kind of network like this, we're happy to help you kind of with the maintenance of that. One other piece I wanted to share with you is actually our CEO forum. So we've been doing weekly calls since the end of March with CEOs. This group actually was started by Dawn Reese of the Wooden Floor. I'm sure a lot of you know her, being from Santa Ana. And she actually worked to get just a few of her CEO colleagues, maybe it was about 6 or 8 people on the phone the first week of kind of everything going on with the COVID-19 crisis. And then the group just kind of grew and grew. And so I think she had about 30 or so folks. And she asked if OneOC could kind of help her to manage the group and things like that. And so we took it over when it had about 30, 40 folks. And now we have over 100 people kind of involved in this network. And so we, as I mentioned, we do have weekly calls. We will be having one later this week. So if you're a CEO that's on the call, or if you have a CEO that you think would be, it would really benefit them to join, please feel free to share this network with them. The way that you're able to sign up for all of these is actually back on this page, and Kevin will send this out to you in an email, but you have the links here. You just click the links and then you can sign up. So if you sign up for the Youth Development and Education nonprofit, you'll be automatically put into the support network. If you sign up for the CEO forum, you'll be automatically put into the support network as well, because it's kind of the parent group, or you can just go in and join the support network. So we're here for you in terms of providing a variety of resources. There's so many other things that OneOC does. This is just kind of scratching the surface, but we really did just want to take a few minutes today and show you some of the things that we have been working on. And if there's something that you don't see here, but you feel like would be really valuable during this time, whereas we're kind of navigating our new normal in this new month of May, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are very open to suggestions and ideas. And a lot of this has just been born out of what's been needed in the nonprofit community. And that's what we're here to do. So thank you so much, and here to answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you so much. This has been very valuable information. I want to see if Dave wants to say something. I know that he's on the call. So.
Yeah, so, you know, OneOC, you guys are doing a great job for not just our nonprofits, but it bleeds over into our for-profit businesses as well. And I do want to plug our volunteer council. I'm part of that. Richard Ward heads that up. We have a council that's focused with OneOC on volunteerism. If there are any right now for-profit business leaders out there that would be interested in looking at that council, being a part of that council, certainly let Tim Stroud know, or Richard Ward. So it's a good council moving forward, really focused on volunteerism for our county. And again, Amanda, Kevin, thank you so much for the work that you guys do. Amanda, you work your tail off all the time. I get all kinds of information from you. But just for those of you on the call, just look at OneOC as a great resource of information and contacts. Alicia mentioned our website early on. I would just say in the Santa Ana, greater Santa Ana area, we're really trying to make sure that our businesses, nonprofit and for-profit, are getting information that's pertinent to them in Santa Ana. 3 or 4 times a week, we're doing some major blasts out on information. One other organization I'll mention, and that's Orange County Business Council, is working on a document to kind of put all the resources together by different sectors, whether it's a nonprofit sector, retail sector, manufacturing sector, on reopening ideas and things that we're going to be looking at besides what the governor says. So I just want to mention that, ocbc.org, if you're not familiar with Orange County Business Council. That's it for me.
Thank you so much, Dave. We really appreciate the kind words and sharing all of the different resources that are available to folks on the call. I think one of the things that you mentioned was very timely, actually, with a question that we got in the chat, which was asking around what nonprofits can do is we go back to work, if staff come back into the office, and what that looks like. And so it sounds like there will be that resource available on the OCBC website. We do have that webinar later this week, as I mentioned. And I think Kevin may be able to speak to this a little bit better, but I think that Linda Duffy from Ethos Human Capital Solutions and Stacy Brooks, who actually works for OneOC, will be putting something together in terms of shareable resources that folks can use after the call. And one other thing I did want to call out, on our CEO call last week, we did talk about kind of that being a future topic in terms of kind of what does that return to work look like for different organizations. So I would encourage kind of the CEOs on the call to join that. And we did also talk about kind of the infectious disease preparedness plan in terms of safety, and so what that looks like. And so that's something that could definitely be a great resource for folks in terms of looking. It's actually on the OSHA website, but I think we can pass out some of the templates and information for folks that are interested. But basically what it is putting together kind of that safety plan, and the infectious disease preparedness piece is one part of that. And so I think we can definitely share something that would be helpful for folks on this call. So thank you for that question.
Amazing. I didn't see any other questions come through. We'll give you guys maybe, if you have 30 more seconds, 1 more minute, if you want to type anything, any questions. But like Amanda said, we'll be sending all that out. And would definitely encourage you to join that webinar on Thursday. It's at 10 a.m. And we're going to cover a lot of those major topics and provide not necessarily a toolkit, but we'll have some additional resources going out after that will aid you in that process.